Okay, we're talking Linsanity. We're having there's like a Linsanity moment right now. The Brooklyn Nets announcing a big partnership with enterprise software company Infor. As part of that deal, the Nets players will wear the Infor logo on their jerseys and will take advantage of Infor's big data analytics. Joining us right now, Brett Yormark, he is the CEO of Brooklyn Nets. Also, Stefan Scholl, he's the president of Infor, and NBA player. I said it was Lieutenant Jeremy Lin is here. He's the point guard, of course, for Brooklyn Nets. Good morning. And you came in for Charlotte last night, so thank you.
Thank you.
What time do you get in?
Around 2.
2 a.m. and you're up at so we appreciate it. Let's talk about this partnership and what it means and what big data means for basketball. Tell us about it.
Well, I'll first kick in, and I mean, first of all, we're thrilled for the partnership with Infor. Obviously, the NBA has afforded teams throughout the league to sell a very appropriate patch on the jersey starting next season. We looked at that in a very serious way, and we looked to identify not only a great strategic partner, but one that was substantive enough to help us with performance both on and off the court. And we've had an existing relationship with Infor. This was an opportunity to really amplify that, tap into their data and analytics, their software, and to drive our business. So we're very excited about it.
So we want to show the jersey real quick. And by the way, we should say other companies, I mean, I was going to say GE just did a deal talking about big data on the other end.
They did.
The Celtics.
They did.
Which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yep, absolutely.
So this is, used to be, you look for Nike up there. Now it's big data companies.
Well, Nike will be on the jersey next year.
Next year.
Okay. They take over that position from Adidas. So when you think about great company alignment between Infor, Brooklyn Nets, and Nike, I'm not sure it gets much better than that.
Jeremy, looking at the shirts, it's still a pretty small logo on the shirt. Do you think this is something the NBA is going to allow?
He's
much,
from
much
Europe,
more?
though, where they just the team name is all. They rename the teams basically.
Well, yeah, but we were slow to allow naming of the stadiums. But either way, is this the tip of the iceberg for how much more you're going to be able to monetize moving forward?
I'm not sure. I think right now it's very appropriate. It's tasteful. It does amplify and create great visibility on the court. I mean, from where we sit. Anytime you can infuse a brand onto the playing field, it's a big-time opportunity, and Infor saw that.
Suggesting that soccer shirts...
Hey, Jeremy, help us, though, in terms of what this means for you as a player, in terms of big data. How do you use data? What kind of stuff are you getting from the team, and is it changing your play?
Yeah, I think going forward, you see the league just changing towards analytics or stats. And so, for example, we have to track our sleep, or we track, our weight and everything, like how your muscles feel on a daily basis. And then every day when we're practicing or working out, we have these things that we wear that just constant data, how fast you're moving, how much. So
what do you wear? Do you wear something at night? Do you wear like a Jawbone or a Fitbit kind of thing, or what are you wearing?
Oh no, you just track like how many hours you get, and then you log it in there. And then when you're working out, you wear something on your back that measures all that. And then during every game, there's cameras in each arena that have like a ridiculous amount of data, all the analytics. So being able to pull that all together and have it, consolidated.
Is it helping you recover from injury? I mean, you've had hamstring problems, so is that helping you get back on your feet and get back in the game? Yeah,
literally every day. Like if we work out the day before, the next day, they're looking at all the numbers. How long was I on the court? How many jumps did I take? How many steps did I take? How much distance I covered? Everything down to all that to try to help you, minimize further injury, basically.
What's the most surprising piece of data you think you've collected that suggested something that you didn't think?
Well, I mean, first off, we're gathering all the behavioral analytics. Right. And for us at Infor, there's just a great cultural alignment with Brooklyn sports and Infor. And it's that Brooklyn grit for us that has allowed us to become the largest enterprise software company based right out of New York here, headquartered out of New York. And so we're just excited with the partnership, and we're excited about working with the players. And we've done this before. I mean, when you think about the work we've done at Formula One with Ferrari, the racing team, in the last couple of years, we're working right now with Triumph Motorcycles on the land speed record to break that. And so we're bringing the behavioral analytics to the table. 1, 2, we're crunching all that information with 65 behavioral scientists, PhD individuals over at MIT that are building the algorithms, crunching the behavioral data that we're getting from the players, the NBA, the courtside TVs. And don't forget what we're doing here. We're doing game time analytics, right? So this has to be presented, number 3, into the most beautiful, easy-to-use software.
Is it still early, though? I mean, big data is only as good as how big the data is, and so you need more and more data points, right, in order
100%.
to actually come up with conclusions that are valid. So at this early stage, if the Nets are just using this information within the Nets team? I mean, does that give you robust enough information to say, you know what, Jeremy's got to do X, Y, and Z to improve his game?
100%. And as you heard Jeremy just talk about, what he's wearing during practice time, we want to mimic as much during practice time. Are you 10 points down? What's the 5-person team on the court when you're 10 points down versus the 5-person team when you're 10 points up? So all that behavioral analytics.
Have you done two things? One is, are you going to be able to apply this data to draft choices, being able to see on the college level something that can fit in? And also, talking about sleep. In baseball, they're discovering that if you go from west to east, it affects how you pitch, how you bat, how you field. You finding that in terms of travel, in terms of the performance of players? Are you able to get data for that?
100%. For us, this is, you've all heard the term money ball for baseball. Right. This is the next iteration of that, and it incorporates more of the behavioral aspects. And I'll use the term emotional quotient. It's great to measure the speed of the ball and all those great things, but how did you get there? What is the behavior of that team? And how do they interoperate, right? So you have to understand the EQ. And there's almost 40 different attributes that we track, 40 different attributes about the behavioral components of an individual. And when you interview somebody, it's hard, as you know in business world. How do you interview somebody and know within a 45-minute window how good that person is? You have to track all the analytics.
Is there a moment at which you've been either on the court or, Brett, you're aware where the coach has basically looked at some numbers and done something they might not otherwise have done?
Yeah, they tell me to get off the court sometimes based on the number. Like, once you hit a certain, basically it's like the minute restrictions of practice. Like, if you hit a certain, it's called like a load. So if you hit a certain load, like, you got to get off mid-practice, whatever it is, mid-drill, like, you hit your load, like, all right, you're going to sit out the rest of the time.
And they weren't doing this. I mean, would have they told you to get off the court 5 years ago?
No, like 5 years ago, it was the longer the better. That's just kind of always been the mentality. And as you see the league progress, it's kind of, a lot of it is really going towards injury prevention, just because injuries are such a big part of our game.
Jeremy, I was reading in an article, an interview you did last year in June, and you said that in the future you want to do, quote, big things off the court. What kind of things have you got in mind after you finish playing the game?
A lot of philanthropy stuff, to be honest, and working with underprivileged kids.
Well, and Brett, I want to ask a separate question in terms of, there's been a lot of talk over the recent years that NFL wants to potentially expand internationally. London's been a big focus of that. What do you think about the NBA potentially doing that going forward? I mean, Asia's a huge market for you guys.
I think the NBA is one of, if not the most global sport right now. I mean, we play games all over the world right now. Our game is delivered through social media in different forms all over the world. From a Nets perspective, we've probably been one of the most active teams playing in London, China. Next year, we're looking to play somewhere in Europe or internationally. Right. So I think all teams aspire to be global. Not sure when a team will reside in Europe or not, but certainly this is a global sport, and we're pushing that agenda every day.
Down when we were in Rio over the summer, Adam Silver came on, and we were talking about whether we thought there'd be teams ultimately that would live in London, be stationed around the world. And he said that he used to think that, but that maybe it's changed with VR. The idea that we all might around the world be able just to watch it as if we're sitting right on at the front row there.
That's exactly right. I mean, with technology today, you could experience that game even though you might be somewhat displaced.
So you mean I don't need to come on Friday?
No, you need to come Friday.
But it's going to help. It's going to help Jeremy Lin sleep because he's not going to have to go west to east, flying across the world.
But there is nothing like the live experience.
Right.
So come to Barclays Center on Friday.
That's what Londoners want in terms of NBA. Does the Barclays tie-up give you a bigger edge to move to London if that comes up, or not really?
Not necessarily, but I think given the halo that Barclays provides us, both our building and our team do have that global presence and appeal, and we do look at the UK as almost a secondary market for us.
Okay, we want to thank Stefan, Brett, and Jeremy Lin. Thank you guys, and thank you for waking up early for us and flying in late last night. So we're very grateful. Thanks.